Hello and welcome back to The Read. We are here for your collective read today, my friends. I hope your day has been going well. Ooh-wee. Today is such a special day because we do have a lunar eclipse in Pisces going on today. So I would suggest, if you haven't already done so, listen to a High Priest is at the bottom. This moon. Definitely suggest you go and seek out how this lunar eclipse will affect you and your sign, your astro chart, your natal chart. We did do a reading on the lunar eclipse in Pisces a couple of days ago. I just wanted to prepare for the energy. So go back and watch that if you haven't already done so. The theme was letting go to let in. So on the day of the lunar eclipse, well, technically it's tomorrow because it starts at 12:12 a.m. So technically the 28th. But we're going to do this read today. It'll stay up until the 28th. So let's see, what energy is the collective? Oh, wait. As always, we hope that this reading provides you with peace, clarity, and guidance. What is the energy that the collective is in today? Ace of Wands came out, Five of Wands. Cut the deck, Wheel of Fortune at the bottom. Of course, we get the Moon card. And I'm going to read it the same way because that's just how it's sticking out to me as of late. So if you don't remember, if you don't know, I am a Pisces. So this is a lunar eclipse in my sign. So it's really, I think it's really important that the Moon card came out for us today as the energy, because we are all underneath this lunar eclipse, especially if you are a mutable sign, Sagittarius, Gemini, Pisces, Virgo. This particular full moon eclipse is going to be particularly impactful for you. So I don't know if we're letting go of the domesticated self and leaning into our wild self. Let me pull this up a little bit closer so you can see it. Let's pull the smoke this way. The Moon card has three animals on it. It has a dog, a coyote, and a crawfish. The crawfish is really special to me because I used to live in New Orleans as well. And I used to be eating them crawfish. I am not a vegan. Anyways. There is a domesticated dog and a wild coyote. Not coyote. I know I said coyote before, but coyote. And they're both howling at the moon. I wonder if there is a part of your domesticated self and your wild self that still howls at the moon, especially tonight, considering the lunar eclipse. There's going to be ancient, primal, instinctual, civilized, domesticated parts of you, all of those different things that are going to be howling at the moon tonight. Wow, that's super powerful. That's actually kind of crazy. I am so sorry. My microphone went out, of course, at the worst possible moment. So I hope that you can still hear me because we're doing this without the mics for right now. didn't go through. We're just going to reshuffle just so we can reset the energy. I didn't want to start a completely new read. And that's because, like, no, with the moon card out on the lunar eclipse, I think there's something that needs to be said. So usually we do this as energy surrounding the two cards. But the next two cards, we're going to draw a card. What is the energy of the domesticated dog? What's the energy of the wild coyote? What is the energy of the domesticated dog? Okay. Judgment. What is the energy of the wild coyote? Oh, wait. Did a card come out? I don't even know when that card came out. I heard something, but oh, okay. Well, okay, let's read. Give me a second. In your domesticated, civilized self, there's some type of elevation that you are moving towards, whether that be in your job, whether that be in your family, whether that be in your community. There is some type of elevation. You are being elevated. You're being promoted. You are, what does they say? What does that lady say? I don't know her name on Instagram. But you are our top employee. Yeah, that's what it's giving. Top notch. The energy is one of elevation. And then it's so interesting because when we think of wild, we think of unstructured, but nature really does have a structure. It really does. And so when we look at the Emperor card as the wild coyote, we know alphas. Sorry. We know that alphas are really, like, the way that we used it in our domesticated world is a completely different way that they present in the wild world. But it's really giving that your wild self is the alpha. You run the pack. Oh, wow. This is so cool. So sorry, but this is like really, really cool. Yeah, your wild self is asking. I think your wild self is really asking to come out. You kind of have two very similar energies coming out. You remember how we were just saying that both of your wild self and your domesticated self, they both are howling at the moon, and that's because the energies that are being presented here is very similar. With the Judgment card, your domesticated self is one that is being elevated in some type of position. And we talked about promotion, but it doesn't have to necessarily be tied to your work. But I think you just as a person are being elevated into a new phase, a new position. But it's funny because your wild self is already there. And I wonder if it's asking you to get your wild self online, back online. Okay, hold on. I have to decide how I want to move forward with this because this is very interesting. Your wild self is already there. Your wild self is a ruler of the pack. Your wild self is the alpha. And I think you're growing into that in your domesticated life. I don't want to do the journey anymore. Or maybe I do. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm just thinking. What is the bridge between, that's what I need to know. What is the bridge between the domesticated self and the wild self? What is the bridging factor? What is the thing that connects them? That really did feel like it came upright. What is the connector? What is the connection? What is the bridge? Nine of Wands. Let's cut the deck. The Hierophant. The connection is your spirituality. You are very spiritual in your domesticated life and your wild life. I think that in your domesticated life, there's probably a little bit more rigidity. There might be a little bit more religion integrated in this. And then in your wild self, there's a lot more spirituality. But please remember that religion and spirituality, religion and spirituality, they both coincide with one another. You can't have one without the other, because spirituality is just, or religion is just a set of religious practices. Your spiritual practices is what ends up making up your religion, whatever religion that may be, whether you have a name for it or not, whether you can define it or not. Your religion is simply made out of your spiritual tradition. So you might start, I think what it is you might need to start thinking of a name. You might need to define it. I think you might have a, taking from a YouTube video I watched the other day, you might have a smoothie religion. That was the Dr. Daff show. One spiritualist versus 20 Christians. And one of the Christians said that the spiritualist Jasmine Garden had a smoothie religion, and which Jasmine Garden responded in the affirmative. Yes, it is a smoothie religion. Anyways, sorry. Anyways, you might have a smoothie religion, and it might be time for you to define that. This is the bridge between the two. And also, I want you to realize that you have a progression. 4 with the Emperor, 5 with the Hierophant. Both of these are very institution. So even in your wildness, there's still a structure. There's still a stability. Ooh. Very interesting. Okay, so let's get one card for each, because it seems as if this reading is diverging, and I want to keep up the divergence. And we might only pull 1 or 2 cards for this, but what is the journey of the domesticated dog? What is the journey of the domesticated dog? Maybe that wasn't the right question. Okay, let's try another question. How does a domesticated dog elevate? Okay, that was the right question. Judgment and justice. That's what I was trying to say. Is there anything else on the elevation of the domesticated dog? Six of Wands, Nine of Cups. So the elevation of the domesticated dog may have something to do with the institution of law, with the pride and prejudice of it all. There's something that you're weighing in the balance of the Libra scales. The Justice card sits at number 11, and it represents Libra. There's also something that you're holding in truth with the sword of truth in the right hand of the person. I don't know if this, I usually think of it as a woman, but it might be a man. It might be a they. Who knows? I don't. So, okay, that's what I needed. That's what I needed. I needed 2 cards. And then we're going to cover her up as well. So hope and faith is coming up as this part of this elevation journey for the domesticated dog. Again, you're weighing something. You're weighing something as good, or you're weighing something as bad or neutral. I think you're just judging it, right? I think that's what you're doing. I think you're just judging it. I'm going to come back to this. What is the Emperor card for the wild coyote? Let's get 2 cards. That almost came out. The Wheel of Fortune. I might take the Wheel of Fortune, honestly, but well, let's do it the same way that we did the other one. Got the Death, Queen of Pentacles, and the Tower. Okay. So for the wild dog, I don't think you were always alpha. Ooh. I think this is actually a recent change in the not the temperament, but just kind of like the positioning of your wild self. There was an external change in your pack. And remember, your pack doesn't necessarily always have to mean your community, but it could also be in your soul tribe, in your spirit tribe. This did take a particularly hard journey to get to this place, to get to the Emperor with your wild and domesticated self, or sorry, with your wild self. I think this is recently in which your wild self has risen to the position of the Emperor. This elevation, now if we want to talk about the elevation of the domesticated self, I think the elevation of the domesticated self actually took a lot of hope and faith. Oh, hold on, let me move this down just a tad bit, because her coochie was out. Lord have mercy. Sorry, girl. It took a lot of hope and faith, and it took a lot of balancing. It was a balancing act for sure. We see that she has 1 foot in water, 1 foot in land, We also see that she is pouring out the vessels of water, one back into water, one back into the land. We also have the balancing act of the scales here in the justice card. So there's definitely a lot of balancing that was going on in order to get to this space, to get to this place. Again, let's not forget that this is very spiritual. However, both of them are howling at the moon. Remember that your wild self, your shadow self, your Lilith, your subconscious, all of those are the same thing. All of those are the same thing. What is the bridge between the journeys? What is the bridge between the journeys? Hard work. Okay. Doesn't matter what it was, what you did, how you did it. It was hard work. I'm gonna put these like this because these are bridges. These are bridges between the two. It took hard work on both sides. To be elevated within your domesticated life took hard work. Both of these are elevations. Both of these are elevations after hard work. You have the Nine of Wands on the wild side. I think by nature you might be a wild person. I think by nature you're a wild person, but the demands of our society requires you to be domesticated. We're going to finish out this shuffle and we're going to ask our last question, which is, what is the overall theme? Let's see if we get one. Nine of Cups again at the top, but what is the overall theme? What is the overall theme? Overall theme is the Three of Pentacles. Let's split the deck and see if we get anything. Ace of Wands at the top, Page of Wands at the bottom. We will be going into the creative act because we got the Ace of Wands. But the overall theme is Three of Pentacles. With the Three of Pentacles, it is definitely a card of community. It's definitely a card of community. I think that you are working within Soul Tribe and Spirit Tribe. So Soul Tribe is here in the tangible. Spirit Tribe is the 40, 5D, 60, and all the other Ds. Okay, let's see. Let's see. I wish you were here to tell me when to stop. Oh, this felt right. Look inward. The sound of water churning in the distance is audible. I feel a breeze of what might be warm air, though it's difficult to tell since my arm hair senses the movement as cooling. Two birds are singing and my eyes are closed. I'm placing them approximately 50 paces behind me and to my right. Now a smaller bird, or at least one with a smaller and higher pitched chirp, enters the soundscape behind me to the left. From the rhythmic interplay, it seems clear the birds are not in conversation. Each sings its own song. Oh, that's beautiful, because I think that and remember the last phrase was each sings its own song. So as both your domesticated and wild self howl at the moon tonight, they will be singing their own song. I wish we got the Lovers card out here. But we didn't. But I think that there is a unique way that both of these two parts of you interplay. I don't know why I said interplay, but I guess I said it for a reason. But there is a unique way that these two play with one another. And I think you might actually have, with the Star card out, you might actually have a great balance between the two. Don't forget your wild side. Don't forget your domesticated side. They're both part of, you know, this cosmic dance that we are in. Don't forget either one of them. You are the alpha. You are elevating. You got here through hope and faith. You also fought for your position. Now there is a soul tribe and a spirit tribe that is surrounding you to continue this dance. Remember your spirituality, remember your religion, and remember the hard work that it takes in order to do this. Oh my gosh, what a beautiful read for the lunar eclipse. Let's cut the deck one more time. We don't need it, but Page of Cups. With that being said, thank you so much for being here. Can't wait to see you in the next one, and happy lunar eclipse. Bye.